The ground broke apart beneath my boots before I even heard the alarm. I dropped into the ravine with dust filling my mouth, my rifle spinning out of my hands, and somewhere above me, 6 drones turned their scanners toward the smoke. This was supposed to be a training exercise. It did not feel like one anymore. My name is Mira Ashworth, and until that morning, everyone at the cohort academy called me the weakest cadet in the entire intake. 400 students had been sorted by strength, speed, and reflex, and I had landed at the very bottom of every single list. I was the only human in my year who had not been claimed by a companion creature on bonding day. I stood in that paddock while every beast in the yard turned away from me, one after another, until the field was empty, and I was still standing there alone. 3 weeks later, a crate arrived outside my dorm with no name on it. Inside was a small dark creature with 6 thin limbs and folded wings like crumpled paper. Nobody could tell me what she was. The Beastmaster's office only wrote one line on the file: origin unknown, handle with caution. I named her Pepper, because she was quick and restless and never sat still for more than a moment. For 3 weeks, she did nothing but sleep against my shoulder, while cadets laughed behind their hands and called me the girl with the useless pet. Now I was lying in a ravine with a twisted ankle, drones circling above me, and Pepper somewhere I could not see. I forced myself onto my knees. Dust stung my eyes. Above the ridge, one of the drones let out a sharp mechanical whine, the sound it made right before it locked onto a target. I had seen that sound end a match in seconds during practice rounds. This was not practice. The instructors had told us that. The weapons were live. The stakes were real. If we failed, we did not get a second try. I reached for my rifle in the dirt, but my fingers only found gravel. The drone's light swept over the ravine, searching, and I held my breath, pressing myself against the broken rock wall. My heart pounded so hard I was sure the machine could hear it. Then the light stopped moving, not because it found me, because something else had crossed its path. Pepper stepped out from behind a boulder above me, small and dark, the way she always looked when she was curled up asleep on my shoulder. For a moment I thought she had come to hide with me, to wait out the danger the way she always did. Instead, she unfolded. I do not have the right words for what happened next. Her limbs extended outward, joints opening in ways I had never noticed before, until she stood 3 times the size I had carried in my arms that morning. Her wings spread wide, catching the light strangely, bending it, so that the drone above her seemed to lose her shape entirely. The machine's scanner swept back and forth, confused, searching for a target that was standing directly in front of it. The drone fired first. I flinched, expecting the worst, but Pepper was already gone from where the shot landed. She moved like the space around her did not follow the same rules as everything else. One instant she was beside the boulder, the next she was above the drone, and then the machine folded in on itself with a soft metallic groan and dropped out of the sky. I pulled myself up the ravine wall, ignoring the pain in my ankle, just in time to see the second drone turn toward her. Pepper did not run. She waited, still as stone, until the drone was close enough that its shadow crossed hers. Then she moved again, and the drone spun sideways and struck the rocks, its lights flickering out one by one. 4 drones remained, and now they were not confused anymore. They regrouped above the ravine, forming a tight circle, scanning in every direction at once. I understood, even through my fear, that they had adjusted their strategy. They were not going to underestimate her twice. I climbed the rest of the way out of the ravine and grabbed my rifle from where it had fallen near the ridge. My hands were shaking, but I forced myself to steady my aim. I was not going to hide while Pepper fought alone, not after she had spent 3 weeks curled against my shoulder, patient and quiet, waiting for a moment neither of us had understood yet. The drones descended together, their scanners locked, and this time they did not aim for Pepper. They aimed for me. I fired twice, missing both times as the recoil threw off my balance. The nearest drone closed the distance fast, faster than anything should have been able to move, and I braced myself, certain I would not get another shot off in time. Pepper crossed the distance between us before the drone could reach me. She did not simply block it, she caught it, wings wrapping around the machine's frame, and for one long second, the 2 of them hung in the air together, perfectly still. Then the drone powered down completely, its lights dimming to nothing, and dropped harmlessly to the ground. The remaining 3 drones broke formation and scattered, trying a new pattern, coming at us from different angles at once. I understood then that whoever had programmed this exercise had never expected a companion creature like Pepper. The Academy's systems were built to test ordinary pairings, ordinary bonds. Pepper was not ordinary, and neither, it turned out, was the way she and I worked together. I called out directions without thinking, telling her where the gaps in their formation were, and she moved exactly where I needed her to be, as if she had always known my voice the way she knew the shifting light around her. One drone crashed into the ravine wall, chasing a shape that was not really there. Another lost its balance mid-air and spiraled into the dust. The last one hovered above us, hesitating, its scanner sweeping back and forth as though it had finally understood it was outmatched. For a moment, nobody moved. Pepper folded her wings halfway, watching the last drone the way a cat watches something it has already decided is no longer a threat. I lowered my rifle, breathing hard, waiting to see what it would do. The drone turned and retreated toward the ridge, its systems clearly registering the exercise as a loss. I had never seen a training drone retreat before. None of us had. The instructors always said the drones did not know how to lose gracefully, because they were not built to. Something about that moment told me the simulation had never expected to reach this point at all. I sat down hard on the broken rock, my ankle throbbing, and Pepper folded herself back down to her usual size, settling against my side the way she always did after a long day. She looked up at me with those strange reflective eyes, and for the first time since bonding day, I felt like she was not just tolerating me. She was choosing to stay. It took almost 10 minutes before anyone reached us. Instructor Vol arrived first, climbing down into the ravine with her datapad still recording the last of the drone wreckage scattered across the range. She looked at the fallen machines, then at Pepper, then at me, and for a long moment she said nothing at all. Finally she asked what Pepper was. I told her the truth, which was that I still did not know. Nobody at the academy had ever managed to identify her species, and the file that came with her crate had never explained where she came from. All I knew was that she had chosen me on a day when every other creature in that paddock had turned away, and that she had waited 3 quiet weeks before showing anyone what she was capable of. By the end of that day, word of what happened on the 9th range had traveled through every dorm in the academy. The cadets who once laughed at me in the corridors stopped laughing. The instructors who had placed me at the bottom of every ranking list moved me into an advanced track without much explanation, though I later learned there was a note in my file recommending closer study of Pepper's species, along with a warning that her origin remained unconfirmed. I did not care much about the rankings after that. What mattered to me was walking back to my dorm that evening with Pepper resting against my shoulder again, small and quiet, as though nothing unusual had happened at all. The other cadets watched us pass in the hallway, and for the first time, nobody whispered the word they used to call me. I still do not know exactly what Pepper is, or where she came from before that crate arrived outside my door. I do not know why she picked me out of 400 cadets, or why she waited so long before showing me what she could do. Maybe it did not matter. Maybe some things choose you long before you understand why, and all you can do is trust that choice when the moment finally comes. That night, as Pepper slept curled against my arm, I thought about the empty paddock on bonding day, and how certain I had been that I would never belong at this academy at all. I understood now that being underestimated was not the same as being weak. Sometimes the quietest ones in the room are only waiting for the right moment to show what they have been carrying all along. I closed my eyes, and for the first time since I arrived, I slept without worrying about what the next test would bring.